Peoples, what's up, peoples? What's up, peoples? Talking some boxing. I was talking with you guys on the live stream, but now we're in Hangouts. If anybody else wants to join the Hangouts, let me know. Let me know. And you can always join the Hangouts. I'll try and get the link to you. Yeah, so we were talking boxing. There's a lot I wanted to talk about. There was this reporter who I think is suing Pulev for kissing her. And it so happens that some other files came out from the Pulev camp showing her lap dancing on what we think is Pulev and so on. The hypocrisy of people, you know what I'm saying? And it looked bad because seemed to be opportunistic on her part. Um, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I always said that you have to know who you're dealing with. And people are snakes out here. They behave one way with you, but then they do something else to you. But I try to tell people life is something to enjoy the ride with, and just roll. You never know what could happen to you. You never know what the future holds. And so, for me personally, as a person, I personally don't. I don't worry about me so much anymore. I'm still messing up and doing a lot of stupid things, but at the same time, I try not to. I don't want to do the same mistakes and make the same mistakes. But one of the worst things you can do, put pressure on yourself, you end up going back into the same thing over and over. So I try to just ride out the storm and just flow with it, kind of like, but yet trusting God at the same time. It is what it is. So I think Pulev, I think he got an unfair shake right there, and this lawsuit that's coming down him and stuff. And I just hope that they can rectify that situation as soon as possible. Yeah, but there's a ton of other things in boxing that happen, not only over the weekend, but also during the week. We have a number of fights that are lined up. Of course, Amir Khan is going to be facing Terence Crawford very soon. Once again, I'd still believe, no matter what people say, Amir Khan is going to get knocked out. He's going to get stopped by Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford does not stop Amir Khan, but he gets the W. That's good. If he doesn't stop Amir Khan, however, and it is a tougher fight than he bargained for, then what does that mean about Terence Crawford? Because I'm telling you right now, Amir Khan is the best step up Terence Crawford has at welterweight. Okay, Terence Crawford ain't fought nobody of any note at welterweight. The best competition he's had so far is Jeff Horn, which is not saying much. So Terence Crawford is now stepping up to the plate and actually facing somebody who's got a name in the welterweight division. Is soft. Amir Khan is a soft fighter because he hasn't faced any of the top tier welterweights in the division that are worth talking about. Okay, he hasn't faced Sean Porter, he hasn't faced Danny Garcia, he hasn't faced Keith Thurman, he hasn't faced Errol Spence, he hasn't even faced Kell Brook. Okay, these are the top tier welterweights in the division at present. Amir Khan has faced none of them. All right, he's been protected from having to face those guys. So, quite frankly, Amir Khan is probably the weakest of the welterweights that we would talk about. He's popular, but he's not. He so far has gotten mostly knocked out. Okay. Now, having said that about Amir Khan, this is what Terence Crawford has to do: knock out Amir Khan. He has to knock him out. Of course, he has to get a W, but I think he should be able to knock out Amir Khan. It's going to come. The opportunity is going to come and present itself. And with skill, Terence Crawford should be able to stop him. If he doesn't stop him, we have to look at, does Amir Khan get bigger? I mean, his chin never gets stronger. So, I don't know. But I expect Amir Khan to get knocked out. Okay, it's just what it is. So that's an upcoming fight, which is not really, I'm not very enthused about it. Adrian Granados versus Danny Garcia is a much more interesting fight. However, I picked Danny Garcia to win that fight. As much as Adrian Granados has always been in tough fights and so on, and gets split. I think all his losses were mostly split decision losses. I think the only loss that he had, which was, excuse me for a second here, which was not a split decision loss, was against Sean Porter. So he's done wonderfully well. Wonderfully well in boxing. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I really came on here to do this hangout because uh, I don't know what the name of the guy was, but something reporter, he was boxing reporter or something like that, wanted to join in the chat and talk with me. But apparently, he's either moved on because I did say I was immediately going to do this hangout. Um, he either moved on or he's probably just waiting in the wings and doesn't realize I've started the hangout. Um, so, you know, quite frankly, Crawford versus Khan should have Crawford winning. Garcia versus Granado should have Garcia winning. Um, and that leads to matchups. People talking about Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. That's going to be an interesting match. The question will be, has Sean Porter learned from his mistakes with Kell Brook? And also, has Sean Porter learned enough to understand he can't just try and bully Errol Spence on the inside? Errol Spence has good boxing ability on the inside. So hopefully Porter knows what he's doing. Porter is not exactly the most neatest, cleanest inside fighter. And a large percentage of his shots don't even land properly. So still be interesting to see how that would go about with Porter versus Spence. I hope that comes to fruition. In addition, we saw the women's boxing where Clarissa Shields just spoke about a support with another women's boxer. How women are paid less than men for their fights. And of course, Clarissa Shields going to look to unify and become the undisputed champion if she can against Christina Hammer. Then when we look at I was looking at how people deem guys like Deontay Wilder and Marcos Maidana. Well, Marcos Maidana is coming back really nicely. You can see he lost visibly some significant amounts of weight. He's still big though, so it'll be interesting to see how that happens. He's got an opponent in Philo Greco, so we'll see how he does against him. Coming off that long layoff in boxing. He hasn't boxed since 2014, I think. So that's a good 5 years ago. My eyes pulling. Yeah, so a lot to talk about in the sport of boxing. Lamont Peterson, I thought I sort of agree that in some respects Lamont Peterson was winning the fight when he got stopped. But really, Lipinets was cleverly, creating the foundation to stop Stevenson, to stop Peterson. I have to keep my eyes closed for a minute. Lipinets was working on pivots from what we learned. He was really working hard on the pivot work, how to pivot properly. And I think that's the key in boxing with footwork. You're really looking at pivots and how you can work those things, which is what Errol Spence does so very well. And that pivot work is the difference, what made the fight for Lamont Peterson a lot harder than it should have been. Whereas with Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia, it was easier for Errol because Errol was using pivot work, create distance from Mikey. Mikey had to be turning all the time. Which leads to something that Floyd Mayweather said to Devin Haney. He's talking about trying to keep your opponent on the outside as much as possible, make your job easier. Yeah, you can rumble on the inside, but better you keep them on the outside sometimes. So I thought that was interesting because, of course, Devin Haney can do many different things in that squared circle, as was Floyd. And when you look at the landscape now and these young, hungry superstar prospects or elite fighters coming up, you got Devin Haney, you got Ryan Garcia, you got Gervonta Davis, new breed of boxers. Which leads me to Gervonta Davis versus Tevin Farmer. And it was said that, Leonard Elby was talking about how Tevin Farmer is a very good fighter, but when it comes to Gervonta Davis, we eat him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I truly believe that as well. And I just glad to hear validation from certain people in certain camps. That's what I'm saying. That it's not fake stuff I'm talking. It's really true and real, can be corroborated in the physical, it's a spiritual something. Um, so what's the time now? The time is now 8:52. I'm gonna wrap it up right about here. I had to keep my eyes closed. My eyes were pulling. My right eye was pulling. I need to get some sleep. I haven't slept very well for the last couple of days, so trying to pull that together, get some rest. And I hope you guys enjoy yourselves through the remainder of the week. The week is almost done. We're going to go to the half mark, and then it's going to be gone. So spend your time as wisely as you can. Blessings and peace to you guys. Deuces. I'm out.